What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to jump in and talk about some of the upcoming weapons and content for this season and beyond. So we can now get a better look at the dungeon weapons and some of the potential weapon roles there. Of course there is the final essence weapon drop that we can get in the dungeon, and then we have the hidden hive theme weapons, so we'll talk about those since it'll probably take a couple of days for them to show up on things like Light GG. And then we're also going to round up some upcoming weapon catalysts, new exotic catalysts for this season's weapons, and catalysts which have been updated for year 3, meaning that we'll likely eventually see them roll out over time, so let's get into it. So outside of new DLC, we do have a handful of weapons left to obtain before Season of Dawn, which starts in December, and primarily those are going to come from the dungeon. We've got some new info on some of the hive-themed weapons that we're going to get, but firstly, confirmed by Bungie as the exclusive weapon essence drop from the dungeon, we've got the Premonition pulse rifle. Unfortunately, I was able to actually try it out pre-launch at Bungie, and this one is visible on Light GG, so it is a high-impact frame pulse rifle. That's the only new one for this season, and in the barrels you basically get all of the stuff that you'd expect. We've got small bore, corkscrew rifling, polygonal rifling, and hammer forged, so it's pretty much covered on that front. And then in the magazines we've got extended, alloy, appended, and light mag, as well as high caliber rounds, ricochet rounds, armor piercing, and flared magwell. Accurized rounds is listed as a curated roll bonus, but I'm not sure if that'll be a thing because currently we aren't getting curated rolls of those weapons, so we'll have to wait and see on that front. But in the first trait slot we do have Under Pressure, Rangefinder, Firmly Planted, and Outlaw. We may as well jump straight to the second trait slot where we have Kill Clip, Headseeker, Demolitionist, and Dragonfly, so there are a few good possibilities there. High impacts are in a fairly good place right now, and we did get a buff at the start of the season, so 2-taps are a little bit more reliable in PvP since they up the damage, and the archetype does feel fairly strong in PvE as well, so with options like Outlaw, Demolitionist, Kill Clip, and even Dragonfly, things have the potential to get kinda tasty, and it will be our first time trying out a max impact Dragonfly Pulse, so I'm definitely looking forward to that, but of course for PvP, at least in my opinion, Outlaw and Kill Clip is gonna be pretty beastie, so yeah, it's actually a weapon I'm looking forward to quite a lot. For other weapons though, of course, a while back the names and models for some kind of hive-themed dungeon weapons were shared by Ginsor on Twitter. And so they have been revealed in their basic form. However, today we can get a little bit more detail on the archetypes and potential perks that the weapons will get. And there is a Reddit thread linked below, so credit to Giovanno and Savage Stanley who shared these. So we do have a precision slug shotgun, and this is the Blasphemer. According to the post, we've got all of the standard kind of barrel and mag options. You can get hammer forged and accurized rounds. And slot 1 apparently can get Genesis, Quick Draw, Auto-Loading Holster, Pulse Monitor, Outlaw, or Snapshot, but then slot 2 can get Rampage, Opening Shot, and apparently Triple Tap. We've also got 6 in the mag right there, so that could be pretty interesting, but it can get Swashbuckler too, so there's definitely some potential for PvE, and of course for PvP considering you've got accurized rounds on all of those kind of things. Quick Draw and Opening Shot could be a pretty nasty combo, but I'm definitely curious to try Triple Tap and Swashbuckler on this type of shotgun. Of course when these weapons release they could be a little bit different from what we're seeing here. But we do have the Rapid Fire Frame Energy Sniper, and this is called Apostate. I think that's how you say that. But to focus on the trait bonuses here, because once again, it's a fairly typical Voiced style sniper, it can get Outlaw, Moving Target, Firmly Planted, Shield Disorient, and Rangefinder in that first slot. And then according to the post, the second slot can get Snapshot, Quick Draw, Rapid Hit, Multi-Kill Clip, or Box Breathing. Not sure if some of these perks could potentially move around at release, but it has some potential. I feel like we've got a lot of rapid fire frame snipers in the game right now, so we'll see how this one performs, but I think it definitely has competition in terms of the actual sandbox element. And then there is the rocket launcher, and this is the Heretic, which is an aggressive frame launcher. And you've got volatile, confined, hard, linear, and quick launch, as well as countermass, and then alloy casing, black powder, high velocity and implosion rounds, or impact casing. And for the traits, according to the post, you can get Demolitionist, Snapshot, Threat Detector, and Rangefinder in trait slot 1, with the possibility of Cluster Bomb, Quick Draw, Ambitious Assassin, and Kill Clip in that second slot. So of course launchers aren't the go-to thing at the moment. I think Demolitionist could be kind of neat if you're getting a bunch of kills. You know, maybe if you threw it on for Vex invasions and kind of random fun stuff like that, but honestly, it's been quite a while since I used a rocket launcher in the game, especially with the grenade launcher meta over the past few months, and then, of course, all the sandbox changes going into Shadowkeep. So how about you guys? What do you think? I know there are some mixed opinions about the kind of theme for the weapons. I really like enemy-themed stuff in general, so for me personally, the kind of visual style, at least, is really cool, but give us your thoughts below, and of course, we need to check these weapons out properly in the game. It does look like there will be a couple of other associated drops with the dungeon, things like emblems, cosmetics, and everything like that, and of course triumphs, Bungie did tease that it'll be worth potentially trying to solo this dungeon, much like the Shattered Throne. Otherwise, we'll have to wait and see whether exotics like Xenophage and the quest for that will also factor into the dungeon, or if there are any other potential hidden rewards. The next thing I wanted to talk about briefly would be new DLC weapon catalysts. So, of course, initially Bungie have updated all of the exotics in the game with a catalyst slot. Some of them have stats, so it's safe to assume that we're probably going to get the ones that have stats with them before we get the ones that don't have stats. However, many of the catalysts don't have properly updated icons in the database just yet, but when we look on LightGG, we can see classified exotic catalysts for all of the brand new DLC weapons. So initially Xenophage is there. Bonuses and perks are actually hidden, but it does show a requirement to defeat 400 enemies in order to upgrade it. Divinity also appears to have its own unique masterwork. Again, we can't see stats for these at the moment, but it does show a requirement of 700 enemies defeated in order to do the upgrade. And the same can be said for the Monte Carlo Catalyst, and for Leviathan's Breath right here. And then finally, we do get the icon for Deathbringer, with an enemy kill requirement of 400, so of course the specific requirements could be updated when they're released into the game. But considering there are some older exotics that don't have updated icons at the moment, yet do actually have stat bonuses and things, I think that means it's entirely possible that we'll actually see these exotic catalysts, potentially sometime inside of this season, but certainly over the course of Year 3. Otherwise, a lot of the exotic catalysts inside of the database do actually use the trace rifle icon as a kind of retainer there, and there are listings for Thorn, Last Word, Jotun, you name it, it's pretty much there. However, the ones that are most likely to drop into the game soon are the ones that carry stat bonuses with them, so there is the Malfeasance Catalyst. There's a stat bonus listing for plus 20 range, and of course that's definitely a good thing for hand cannons, especially at the moment. And then on top of this, of course, there is the bonus Explosive Shadow that you get with Malfeasance, and there is a linked bonus in the database called Big Boom, where defeating an enemy with Explosive Shadow causes a final explosion. And so with so much data there, it's possible that we could get this one reasonably soon. There is the Two-Tailed Fox Catalyst, and this has a bonus for plus 30 reload speed, as well as plus 10 weapon size, and that actually refers to the reserve ammo for the weapon, so we should be able to carry more ammo in reserve. Of course, it'll probably just be one rocket or something. But being able to reload quicker is definitely a bonus as well, but the catalyst for the Black Talon simply lists a magazine boost of plus 40. And now I doubt we'll actually get plus 40 rounds in the game, but it'll definitely be some kind of boost to the amount of ammo that we can carry with the weapon, and maybe it will just get us a teeny bit closer to the status that exotic swords had in D1. You never know. But it appears that the Lord of Wolves catalyst is also going to increase the magazine size. 1000 Voices is listed as having an ammo reserves increase of plus 20, and so that should give it at least a couple more rounds in reserve, as well as a stability boost of plus 30. Increased stability on 1k Voices is definitely a curious one. And of course, because these are in the database at the moment and they aren't necessarily completely finished, there is potential that some of the stats and bonuses will be updated. Queenbreaker comes with a range bonus of plus 20, as well as plus 20 on the aim assist bonus. And if that's the case, then the thing is literally going to stick to people's heads, but Trinity Ghoul is listing a charge time increase of plus 30, and what this probably actually means is a draw time decrease, or potentially some kind of buff to how long you could hold the drawn bow. And then Wave Splitter definitely has some potential because we've got a range increase of plus 10 with a bonus to the reserve ammo that you can carry for the weapon, so that's a plus 30%, and so that'll be a pretty decent bonus. Those are the catalysts that currently are carrying some kind of stats associated with them, as well of course as the classified exotic bonuses for new DLC weapons, and considering they're classified, that means they could potentially be carrying full stats and perks with them. It may just be the case that we can't see any more info about them at the moment. Once again, as for the rollout of exotic catalysts as we've seen, we don't necessarily get an absolute ton on new content releases or anything like that. We got the Ace of Spades and Cerberus one with the launch of Shadowkeep, and they questified the one for the Vow, so maybe that'll be the case for some of the other DLC weapons. But exactly when we're going to get other new catalysts is anyone's guess right now. Considering the update we had, my assumption is that Bungie will probably look to roll these out season over season, because of course they've used them for special events, they've put them in as random world drops, strike drops, and as rewards from quests and things like that, so hopefully they'll continue to do that, and we don't know whether they could be still working on stuff like faction rallies or arms week, or a similar kind of replacement for the future, so yeah, it definitely seems like we're going to be getting more of them, and hopefully that'll provide us with a few additional pursuits every season. That's everything I wanted to talk about for today, guys. Let us know your thoughts on the dungeon weapons, the potential roles that we could see on some of those, and any of the catalysts that you'd be really excited to actually get in the game. But if you've enjoyed the video, a like rating down below is very much appreciated, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to get subscribed if you do enjoy the content, as I'll be keeping you posted with all the news, guides, and important goings-on in Destiny 2. For now though, thanks as always for tuning in, and whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.